The CogNarr ecosystem is a novel approach designed to facilitate functional cognition in large groups, leveraging recent developments in cognitive science, artificial intelligence, natural language processing, and related fields. It views a group as an organism that uses a cognitive architecture to sense the world, process information, remember, learn, predict, make decisions, and adapt to changing conditions. The ecosystem is conceived as an extensible set of technologies, resources, applications, tools, libraries, and services that facilitate group cognition, particularly in the context of deliberation, strategizing, collaborative problem-solving, and decision-making. The concept paper highlights the need for this project, given the limitations of current social media platforms and other online tools in supporting functional group cognition, and emphasizes the timeliness of the project, as societies face numerous unsolved or inadequately solved problems. The CogNarr ecosystem is intended to be developed within an open-source framework under an appropriate governance system, ensuring transparency, building trust among users, and maximizing the safe and effective use of the technology. The ecosystem is a global web of generative models and intelligent systems, with humans at its core, facilitating group cognition on a large scale by creating an interactive platform for users to share narratives across various topics and domains. It can potentially serve as a node in the network of intelligence envisioned by Friston et al., depending on user desires. Active inference, a Bayesian description of cognition and self-organization, plays a central role in the CogNarr project, conceptualizing cognition as a four-part cyclic process of predict right-pointing arrow act right-pointing arrow sense right-pointing arrow learn, where actions are viewed as part of cognition. This process is an optimization process, where the objective function being minimized is expected variational free energy. The CogNarr ecosystem is designed to facilitate functional cognition at scale by addressing the quality of the cognitive architecture that prescribes and supports hallmark processes. In a group setting, the cognitive architecture includes its members, norms, rules, mechanisms, institutions, tools, systems, and/or procedures that facilitate or guide cognition. The CogNarr ecosystem can be viewed as part of the cognitive architecture of the person or group using it, and its details matter. From an active inference perspective, group cognition rests on the communication of member beliefs and consensus building with respect to those beliefs. A person's beliefs and expectations can be referred to as a belief model, which is an agent's internal model of how the world works relative to some situation. CogNarr aims to record a user's belief model, externalize it, make it explicit and transparent, and then share it with others to facilitate group cognition. Humans tend to experience their beliefs and make sense of the world largely through narratives. CogNarr builds on this propensity by transforming internal narratives into explicit, external belief models, which are then communicated. These externalized belief models are referred to as stories or narratives, and are represented as a special type of computational graph called a story graph. Story graphs are the core innovation on which the CogNarr ecosystem is based, and are used to curate, understand, and reason with high-quality information about human experience, beliefs, and expectations. The CogNarr ecosystem facilitates group cognition at scale by representing narratives as story graphs, which are abstract, natural language independent meaning representations. A completed story consists of a collection of passages, each with associated metadata and artifacts, and a meaning representation of each passage, called a story graph fragment. The story graph integrates these fragments, providing a structure for inference and analysis. This representation can be translated into multiple natural languages, models, or alternative meaning representations, serving as an interlingua. The purpose of the story graph is to reduce ambiguity, provide a human and computer-readable format, enable inference and analysis, and facilitate translation. Graph-based meaning representations, such as the abstract meaning representation, AMR, excel at representing structured information and are easily understood by humans and computers. A story graph can be translated into one or more models, which conduct inference, compute with uncertainties, and generate predictions. Two characteristic models are logic models, interpreting formulas of classical or non-classical logic, and probabilistic models, written in a universal probabilistic programming language, PPL. Like general other models, such as graph matching, distributional, or specialized PPL models, can be constructed depending on story characteristics, query types, and computational goals. The initial CogNarr version will include a small set of models, while a mature version can translate story graphs into many possible models, each serving a particular purpose. The choice of model depends on story characteristics, queries, and computational resources. For example, a graph matching model can assess similarities between story graphs, while a distributional model can answer queries about story meaning. The algebraic Julia ecosystem, which approaches scientific modeling from an applied category theory perspective, is also of interest in this project. In summary, the CogNarr ecosystem represents narratives as story graphs, which can be translated into multiple models, enabling inference, analysis, and prediction. The choice of model depends on story characteristics, queries, and computational goals, and the ecosystem can be extended to include various models, facilitating group cognition at scale. The CogNarr ecosystem is a novel system designed to facilitate group cognition at scale, leveraging various models in neurosymbolic logic, pre-trained language models, Bayesian and non-Bayesian statistical models, and active inference models. It creates a comprehensive meaning representation of complex stories, allowing users to verify the system's understanding and interact with the story graph through tailored views. The system can handle uncertainty in stories, translating them into probabilistic models for generating possible outcomes or distributions over outcomes. In story construction, each passage is translated into a story graph fragment, which is then merged into the growing story graph. This graph can be translated into code for one or more models, alternative meaning representations, or various natural languages. Storytellers can input sentences as well as metadata and artifacts, such as tables and charts, which are integrated into the models. The system's ability to handle uncertainty is demonstrated through examples like weather forecasting and character actions, where probabilistic models are employed to generate sets of possible outcomes. This allows users to ask questions about the story and receive answers based on the model's execution. The system differentiates between various levels of uncertainty experienced by the storyteller, readers, and the system itself, providing a nuanced understanding of the story's meaning and context. The CogNarr ecosystem utilizes advanced technologies such as natural language processing, knowledge graphs, and probabilistic programming to translate text into probabilistic models. The story graph serves as an interlingua, allowing for efficient computation and human understanding of complex narratives. Users can edit stories in rounds, with the system providing feedback on similarities and differences between stories, facilitating group cognition and collaborative storytelling. The CogNarr ecosystem is a system designed to facilitate group cognition at scale, leveraging active inference and storytelling. It comprises specific front-end apps for constructing, sharing, viewing, discussing, and updating narratives, as well as a back-end system that provides computational services such as story graph construction, integration, translation, and analysis. The system aims to minimize story ambiguity through editing, feedback, and assessment processes, accumulating high-quality narratives over time. In the context of active inference, storyteller relationships can be identified, including interactions between a storyteller and a group, or between the system and a storyteller or group. These interactions involve choosing actions based on beliefs and predictions, with the goal of gaining information or altering conditions. The system can use an active inference model to refine its understanding of a story and storyteller, improving story quality by reducing uncertainty and discrepancies. Core components of the CogNarr ecosystem include front-end apps and a back-end system with various computational services. The project is conceived as an open-source effort, employing governance and administrative systems, providing services and outreach, and supporting research that contributes to cognitive science and tool development. In practice, the CogNarr system forms groups, utilizes stories to facilitate cognition, measures story quality, and encourages cooperative user behavior. By leveraging active inference and storytelling, it aims to enhance individual and group cognition at scale. Users create stories in response to and as part of a story event, which can be either self- or group-oriented. A self-event is created by an individual for personal use, such as strategizing about a problem or creating a permanent record of beliefs. A group event, on the other hand, is hosted by a group to generate potential solutions to a community problem. The group defines the rules, methods, and procedures for the event, and can decide on member anonymity and event duration. The function of a story is to convey a storyteller's honest beliefs and expectations about a situation. The system does not assess story realism, except when given explicit instructions on how to do so. Instead, group members are responsible for assessing the predictive accuracy of a story as time unfolds. The system provides aids for assessing predictions, including analytic tools and the saved history of stories themselves. Ideally, a storyteller provides information in the right volume and quality to make a story sufficiently clear, concise, consistent, logical, and complete. Stories and beliefs based on sufficient evidence and sound reasoning would tend to be more persuasive to group members than those based on thin evidence or unsound reasoning. The system assesses story quality, focusing on comprehensibility, completeness, internal consistency, timeliness, and relevance. Regarding completeness, are there missing elements or gaps in reasoning, motivation, or action that render the story difficult to understand? Regarding consistency, does the story exhibit an internal logic? Are characters sufficiently defined and reasonably consistent? Regarding timeliness and relevance, does the story address the target situation? Does it conform with any rules defined for the event? The set of rules and policies adopted by CogNarr and by groups should serve to support and encourage an enjoyable, safe, and engaging user experience, healthy and honest communication, the efficient creation of high-quality stories, and ultimately, highly functional group cognition and the empowerment of groups to make a positive difference in the world. Defining and enforcing an optimal mix of rules and policies is a substantial challenge. Addressing these challenges is left for future work, except for a few thoughts on reputation, which can be a useful form of social currency in the CogNarr ecosystem. The CogNarr ecosystem enables group cognition at scale by facilitating the creation of narratives that capture complex decision-making processes, customer service interactions, emergency reports, public polls, instructions, and personal strategizing. These narratives are categorized into 7 use cases, each with unique characteristics and requirements, exemplified through narrative snippets that demonstrate diverse linguistic and knowledge representation phenomena. The system's natural language models face challenges in handling these phenomena, including lexical semantics, predicate argument structure, logic, and world knowledge. Effective handling of these phenomena is crucial in enabling users to create narratives that accurately capture complex decision-making processes and facilitate group cognition. The CogNarr system is designed to accommodate various domains and use cases, with the potential to develop dedicated apps for each use case. The narrative snippets illustrate the diversity of use cases, from decision-making to personal strategizing, and the system's ability to handle complex linguistic and knowledge representation phenomena enables users to create narratives that capture the nuances of human thought and decision-making processes. The ecosystem is designed to facilitate group cognition at scale by handling diverse linguistic and knowledge representation phenomena in stories, including aspects such as hyponymy, polysemy, meronymy, counterfactual reasoning, spatial deixis, analogy, metaphor, and approximators of uncertainty, imprecision, and vagueness. The system accommodates various knowledge representations, including algebraic and differential equations, vectors, charts, tables, logic rules, knowledge graphs, and probabilistic relations. To address these challenges, the CogNarr ecosystem has several key characteristics, including cooperation between storytellers and the system, categorical grammar formalism, domain knowledge definition, metadata provision, multiple inference models, and various knowledge representation inputs. The system is distinct from other online tools and platforms that facilitate group deliberation and decision-making, focusing on understanding and computing with story meaning, incorporating diverse linguistic and knowledge representation phenomena. The CogNarr ecosystem is a novel framework that facilitates group cognition at scale, distinguishing itself from existing frameworks like Liquid Feedback, Decidum, and MetaGovernance Project. It offers a unique set of features rooted in cognitive science, enabling rich storytelling, analysis, and inference. The system aids in real-time feedback, question asking, and story improvement, making it applicable to various use cases beyond group deliberation and decision-making. CogNarr ensures political equality by allowing each person to submit one story, assessing all stories via a transparent process, and presenting summarized results. This approach prevents voice hiding or filtering, promoting equal participation. The system's flexibility in group operations, transparent procedures, and rules also contribute to political equality. The paper highlights other notable projects, such as the Metagovernance Project, Deliberative Democracy Lab, and research on large group decision-making. These projects focus on building standards for digital self-governance, facilitating online deliberation, and identifying optimal choices for decision-makers. The CogNarr project's ultimate goal is to improve group cognition, which resonates with humanity's deep desire for functional group cognition. This desire is rooted in evolution and is central to cooperation in the biological kingdom. By improving group cognition, CogNarr aims to align human activity with the universal process of learning and optimization. The paper concludes by emphasizing the importance of fulfilling humanity's purpose to learn, adapt, and support intelligence. The CogNarr project represents a reorganization of social processes, institutions, and systems to align with this deep purpose, enabling humans to serve themselves and the greater good more effectively. The CogNarr ecosystem is a novel system designed to enhance group cognition at scale by integrating insights from cognitive science, machine learning, and complex systems theory. It leverages recent advancements in artificial intelligence, machine learning, and cognitive science, particularly the concept of active inference, which posits that the brain is an inference machine that constantly predicts and updates its understanding of the world based on sensory input. The core components of the CogNarr ecosystem include a cognitive cell, representing the basic unit of cognition, and a cognitive network, a hierarchical structure composed of multiple cognitive cells. This network enables the sharing of information, coordination of actions, and collective decision-making among the cells, while continuously updating its understanding of the environment and adjusting its behavior accordingly. In addition to these core components, the CogNarr ecosystem incorporates various tools and techniques from machine learning and natural language processing, such as pre-trained language models to process and generate human-like text, and graph-based models to represent complex relationships between entities and concepts. This system has the potential to revolutionize how we understand and facilitate collective intelligence. Moreover, the CogNarr ecosystem promotes the integration of knowledge into learning systems, enhancing the capabilities of pre-trained language models and their applications. It addresses issues related to governance in online communities by empowering non-programmers to author executable governance policies, fostering a more inclusive and participatory environment. By combining cutting-edge technologies with insights from cognitive science and social theory, the CogNarr ecosystem presents a comprehensive approach to enhancing group cognition and collective problem-solving.